There is a doorway in your life that you may have walked past 1,000 times. A doorway that opens not with effort, but with a single new thought. If you are here, it's because life is gently guiding you back to that doorway now. You may think miracles are rare, reserved for the lucky, the chosen, the spiritual elite. But miracles are not accidents. They appear the moment the mind stops repeating old pain and becomes willing to imagine something kinder, freer, more possible. Let me ask you softly, what if the miracle you've been waiting for has been waiting for you to think differently? What if one shift, one thought of worthiness, one whisper of I can, could change the entire direction of your day, your body, your future? Maybe you've carried the same thought for years. I'm not enough. Life is hard. Things never work out for me. These thoughts feel familiar, but they are not truth. They are habits, and habits can be replaced gently, one breath at a time. Imagine this moment as a reset, a moment where your mind becomes a garden, again fertile, ready, open. Even one seed of a new belief can grow into a miracle if you give it sunlight, attention, and the permission to take root. Your body hears your thoughts. Your life responds to them. When you choose a thought that nourishes instead of wounds, the universe shifts with you. Doors loosen, tension fades, opportunities rise from places you thought were barren. So breathe deeply now. Feel the space inside you where a new thought could land, softly, safely. Let it be simple, loving, believable. I am open to miracles. I am worthy of miracles. I create miracles with my thoughts. Repeat it gently, without force. You don't need to believe it fully yet, just allow it. The miracle begins the moment you give your mind permission to think a kinder thought. There is a quiet moment in every life when we finally pause long enough to hear the truth whispering beneath the noise. This moment is happening for you right now. A miracle does not require a grand gesture or a dramatic shift in circumstance. A miracle begins the instant we become willing to think a kinder, more loving thought. One thought is all it takes to begin turning the direction of your life. For so many years, you may have believed that your thoughts simply happened to you, that they were facts, that they were reflections of who you were. Yet every thought is a choice, even the ones that feel automatic. They are choices shaped by old stories, old wounds, old fears. When we feel powerless, it is because we are repeating thoughts that were handed to us, not chosen by us. I learned long ago that the mind is astonishingly obedient. Whatever seed we plant, it will nurture. If we plant thoughts of fear, we live in a garden of anxiety. If we plant thoughts of love, we live in a garden of peace. You may have tended the same emotional garden for years, but the moment you plant a new thought, the soil shifts beneath your feet. There is a deep comfort in knowing that nothing in your past can prevent a miracle. You do not need to have lived a perfect life. You do not need to understand how healing works. You do not need to believe fully. You need only be willing. Even the smallest willingness opens a crack in the mind, and through that crack, light pours in. Each time you think a thought of limitation, I can't, I'm stuck, things don't change for me, your body contracts, the shoulders tighten, the chest closes, the breath shortens. These physical responses are not signs of failure. They are signs that the body has grown tired of fear. The body longs for relief, and relief comes the moment you choose a gentler thought. A miracle does not arrive through effort or strain. It arrives through openness. It arrives when we stop insisting that life can only move in one direction. It arrives when we stop replaying old injuries. It arrives when we look at ourselves with compassion rather than criticism. It arrives when we say, even timidly, perhaps something good is possible for me. There is a place within you, a quiet, bright center that has never been harmed by life. No matter what you have endured, this inner place remains whole, untouched, radiant. It is the place from which new thoughts rise. It is the place where miracles begin. When you allow yourself to return to this center, even for a moment, you feel the truth. You are not broken. You are simply awakening. So much of what you call truth is merely repetition. A thought repeated long enough feels like a fact. If you tell yourself that you are unworthy, you live as though it is true. If you tell yourself you are powerless, you experience life through that belief. But imagine what would happen if you repeated a different thought. I am worthy, I am capable, life supports me. At first, these thoughts may feel unfamiliar, almost foreign. That is natural. New thoughts are like new pathways in the mind. They must be walked again and again before they feel comfortable. But each repetition plants the seed deeper. Each repetition builds strength. Each repetition moves you closer to the miracle unfolding within you. Most people believe they must change their entire life before they can feel better. That is not true. You change your life by changing your thoughts. The outer world rearranges itself around the inner world. The moment you choose a new thought, you begin to alter the energy you live from. You begin to shift what you attract, what you notice, what you expect. In my own life, miracles began the moment I decided to stop believing everything my mind told me. I learned to question the thoughts that caused me pain. I learned to say, is this really true? I learned to ask, what else might be possible here? These small questions open the door to enormous transformation. The miracle you seek is not far away. It is not hidden. It is not being withheld. It is waiting patiently for your readiness. And readiness begins with one gentle inward whisper. I am willing to think a new thought. Let that be your beginning. Repeat it softly. Feel how your heart responds to it. Feel how your breath deepens around it. Feel how your mind becomes a little more spacious. Your miracle is not in the future. Your miracle is in this moment. Your miracle is in your next thought. And you, dear one, are ready. There comes a moment in every healing journey when we finally turn toward the thoughts that have kept us limited, not to fight them, not to judge them, but to understand them. Every fearful thought you have ever carried began as a way to protect yourself. It was the mind's attempt to shield you from pain. And now, as you grow in awareness, you can see that many of these thoughts no longer belong in the life you are creating. So many of the beliefs you hold today were formed long before you had the tools to question them. You absorbed them from the atmosphere around you, your home, your caretakers, the emotional climate of your early years. Children listen with their hearts. They interpret silence, tone, tension, and absence. You may have learned without any words being spoken that love was uncertain, that approval had to be earned, or that comfort was not always available. These beliefs planted thoughts that whispered, be careful, don't hope too much, don't expect anything. Stay small so you won't be disappointed. And those thoughts became familiar, not because they were true, but because repetition made them feel safe. But now, dear one, you are awakening. You are beginning to recognize the difference between familiarity and truth. A thought repeated 1,000 times is not a fact, it is simply a habit. And habits can be changed. As you begin to question these old thoughts, something subtle yet powerful happens inside you. You reclaim your authority. You stop letting old stories speak for you. You begin to hear your own voice, quieter but wiser, softer but more aligned with your spirit. When an old thought rises, I'm not enough, nothing ever works out for me, I can't change, pause, take a breath. Instead of believing the thought, become curious about it. Say inwardly, where did you come from? Or is this really mine? Or does this still serve me? These questions loosen the thought's grip. They bring it out of the shadows and into the light where it can be seen clearly. You may discover that many of your limiting thoughts were formed from moments of hurt, moments where you felt alone, misunderstood, or unseen. The child you once were had no choice but to make meaning out of those experiences. But the adult you are now has the power to reinterpret them. A thought that protected you at age 7 may be imprisoning you at age 30, 40, or 50. And that realization is not cause for regret, it is cause for celebration. Because it means nothing is wrong with you, you are not flawed, you are not slow to grow, you are simply maturing into a deeper awareness. Release comes when you understand that these old thoughts were never an accurate reflection of your worth. They were reflections of the emotional environment you grew in, and you are no longer in that environment. Let that truth move gently into your body. You are not the child who had to brace themselves. You are not the teenager who felt afraid to hope. You are not the adult who repeated the same painful story. You are something far more powerful. You are the one who notices, and the one who notices can choose again. The body holds old thoughts like tiny knots of tension. When you think a painful belief long enough, it settles into the shoulders, the jaw, the chest, the belly. This is why releasing old thoughts often feels like releasing stiffness from the body. You are loosening not only the belief, but the emotional contraction that came with it. Place your hand on your heart now. Feel the warmth beneath your palm. Breathe into that space. Imagine your breath as soft light melting the old thought at its root. You don't need to push. You don't need to rip anything out. Just imagine softening, softening, softening. That is how the mind unlearns. Some thoughts will rise again out of habit. That does not mean you are failing. It means you are human. The mind does not change because you demand it. The mind changes because you create a new atmosphere for it, one of safety, patience, and love. Whenever an old belief tries to return, speak kindly to yourself. Say, this is an old thought. I don't need you anymore. Let the thought pass like a cloud drifting across the sky. You do not need to cling to it, and you do not need to push it away. You observe it, you breathe, you release. Let's go even deeper now. Behind every limiting thought is a deeper emotional need. The thought, I'm not enough, often hides a longing for approval. The thought, nothing ever works for me, hides a longing for safety. The thought, I can't change, hides a longing for support. Instead of believing the thought, respond to the need. Say, I am here with you. Say, you are safe now. Say, we can try again, gently. Say, you are not alone anymore. This is the true release, not forcing the thought to leave, but meeting the part of yourself that believed it. You may feel tears rising as you do this work. Tears are not weakness. Tears are release. Tears are your body letting go of beliefs that were too heavy to carry. Let them come. Let them soften you. Let them wash away what no longer belongs. Release also comes from forgiveness. Forgiveness for yourself. Forgiveness for the people who shaped your early beliefs. Forgiveness for the moments when you stayed in patterns longer than you wanted. Forgiveness does not excuse anyone's behavior. Forgiveness frees you from carrying the pain forward. Say quietly, I release you. I release me. I release this thought. I release this story. And notice the opening that follows the tiny doorway inside your chest where light begins to enter. Old thoughts may have shaped your past, but they do not need to shape your future. You are no longer living unconsciously inside them. You are waking up. You are choosing. You are stepping into a life that reflects your truth rather than your fear. And that, dear one, is the miracle already beginning. There comes a moment in every transformation where the old thoughts have softened enough for something new to take root. This moment is tender, sacred, and powerful. It is the moment when you begin choosing your thoughts consciously, not from fear, not from habit, but from love. This is where the miracle truly begins to bloom. You are not trying to rebuild your entire mind all at once. You are simply learning to plant one new loving thought again and again, until it becomes the foundation of your inner world. New thoughts do not need to be grand or dramatic. They simply need to feel like relief. They need to feel like truth spoken softly. A new thought might sound like, I am willing to believe. Or maybe I am worthy after all. Or even, I can try a kinder way. These thoughts open the door for life to support you, and life always supports a mind that is opening. Old thoughts were rooted in fear. New thoughts are rooted in possibility. Old thoughts tighten the body. New thoughts soften it. Old thoughts repeated the past. New thoughts create the future. You may wonder where to begin. Begin with the thought that brings you the most relief in this moment. Not the thought that sounds the most spiritual. Not the thought that feels the most ambitious. Choose the thought that soothes your heart right now. You might say, I am learning, or I am trying, or I am open. These gentle thoughts become like sunlight for your inner garden. They warm the soil. They encourage new life. They remind your body that change is safe. Let us explore how powerful a single new thought can be. Imagine you have repeated all your life, I can't. Your body contracts at the thought. Your chest tightens. Your breath shortens. Now imagine replacing it with, I can try. Feel the difference. Feel how your body responds. Feel the slight expansion inside your heart. That subtle shift is a miracle beginning. Your new thoughts do not need to be perfect. They simply need to be kinder than the old ones. When you plant a new thought, say it slowly. Say it like you are speaking to a child who has been waiting years to hear these words. Say it with warmth. Say it with sincerity. Let it fill the quiet spaces inside you. Say, I am worthy of good things. Feel how your body reacts. Does your chest soften? Does your breath deepen? Does your inner world feel more spacious? This is the miracle widening inside you. Thoughts grow through repetition. The mind learns through repetition. Healing grows through repetition. Every time you repeat a new thought, you strengthen it. Every time you choose a loving thought over a fearful one, you feed the miracle instead of the limitation. This is why I encourage affirmations. They are not magic spells, they are loving seeds. Affirmations spoken with presence reshape the inner landscape. You are not forcing belief, you are inviting it. You are not demanding change, you are allowing it. You are not correcting yourself, you are nurturing yourself. Look into the mirror, even for a moment. See your eyes. See the person who has survived every moment of your life. Speak gently to them. Say, I love you. I am listening to you. I am willing to believe in you. The mirror reveals where the mind still resists and where the heart is ready to open. Do not rush it. Do not judge it. Simply show up for yourself with consistency and care. New thoughts often feel fragile at first, like new seedlings. They must be protected from old doubts and fears. When an old thought tries to push its way back in, gently redirect your mind. No, dear one, we are thinking differently now. Say it kindly, not sternly. Your mind responds best to kindness. Let us go deeper into the emotional power of new thoughts. A new thought does not simply change your mind, it changes your vibration. You begin to invite new experiences. You begin to notice new opportunities. You begin to feel aligned with the flow of life rather than resisting it. This is because loving thoughts are in harmony with the universe itself. Fearful thoughts separate us from life. Loving thoughts reconnect us to it. Every new thought you choose is an affirmation of your worthiness, an affirmation of your potential, an affirmation of your ability to change your life. You learn thought by thought to trust yourself again, to trust your inner voice, to trust life, to trust love. This is how miracles grow quietly, steadily, joyfully. Let me give you a few thoughts to plant today. Take whichever ones feel warm in your chest and repeat them gently throughout your day. Life loves me and I am learning to love myself. I am open to wonderful possibilities. My thoughts create my freedom. I choose thoughts that support my healing. I am beginning a new chapter with my mind. Say them slowly. Let each thought land inside you like a soft promise. At some point, the new thoughts will feel more like home than the old ones. The moment you notice that shift, even if it is brief, you will feel it. The sense of something unlocking inside you, the gentle inner exhale, the recognition of truth returning. This is the miracle unfolding. It begins with one thought, just one, and you have already begun. Once a new thought begins to take root, it becomes a living thing inside you, something tender, something precious, something worth tending with, patience and love. A miracle is not a single event. A miracle is a relationship you build with your mind, your heart, and your willingness to grow. And like any relationship, it deepens through daily devotion. You do not have to change your entire life overnight. You do not have to transform every thought or master every emotion. What you are being asked to do now is much simpler and much more powerful. Show up for yourself each day with intention. Even the smallest loving habit, repeated gently, becomes the foundation of profound change. Begin each morning with one quiet moment for yourself. Before the world pulls you into its rhythm, place your hand over your heart and breathe deeply. Feel the warmth of your palm. Feel your breath rising to meet it. Say softly, "This is a new day, and I am choosing thoughts that support my healing." These words set the tone for your entire day. The mind, when it first awakens, is like soft clay, impressionable, open, receptive. When you begin the day with a loving thought, you guide the mind toward peace. You remind yourself that you are not a victim of your old habits. You are the gardener tending your inner landscape. Throughout the day, bring your attention back to your breath. Your breath is a faithful friend. When you inhale, you invite new energy into your body. When you exhale, you release the tension that no longer belongs to you. Each breath becomes a cleansing, a reset, a return to yourself. Whenever you notice an old thought rising, an echo of fear, a familiar doubt, a harsh inner voice, pause. Take one slow breath. Say inwardly, "I choose again." Then gently replace the old thought with a new one. This is not about perfection. It is about kindness. It is about remembering that you have the power to redirect your mind. Nurturing a miracle is like nurturing a flame. If you feed it, it grows brighter. If you neglect it, it dims. But even the faintest ember can reignite with a single breath of love. When you repeat positive thoughts, you are feeding the flame. When you speak to yourself gently, you are protecting it from the winds of old habits. Speak lovingly to yourself throughout the day. Say, "I am learning." Say, "I am doing well." Say, "I am willing to change." These simple sentences become powerful affirmations when spoken consistently. The body responds beautifully to your new thoughts. Muscles loosen, the heartbeat slows, the breath grows deeper. When you think lovingly towards yourself, your entire physical being relaxes into trust. Healing happens most easily in a relaxed body. You may notice that as you nurture your inner miracle, your outer world begins to shift. People respond differently to you. Opportunities appear in unexpected ways. Circumstances soften. This is not coincidence. This is alignment. As your inner world becomes more peaceful, your outer world begins to reflect that peace. There will be days when you feel deeply connected to your new thoughts, days when everything flows easily, when your heart feels open, when your mind feels clear. These are beautiful days. Celebrate them. Let them affirm your progress. And there will be days when old patterns rise again, days when doubt returns, when fear whispers, when your mind feels heavy. These days are not setbacks. These days are invitations. Invitations to practice the new thought, to strengthen it, to prove to yourself that you can remain loving even when the mind is tired. Every time you choose a loving thought on a difficult day, You strengthen your miracle more deeply than you ever could on an easy day. Healing is not about perfection. Healing is about consistency. Every loving thought matters. Every choice to pause matters. Every moment of awareness becomes a thread in the tapestry of your transformation. Create small rituals that support your journey. Perhaps you light a candle each evening and say a gentle affirmation. Perhaps you place notes of encouragement around your home. Perhaps you journal one kind thought before bed. Perhaps you look into the mirror and whisper, "I am proud of you." These rituals are not trivial. They anchor your new beliefs in the physical world. They turn intention into action and action into embodiment. Remember that nurturing your miracle does not require force. It requires presence. It requires patience. When you water a seed, you do not shout at it to grow faster. You trust the process. You trust the soil. You trust the sunlight. You trust the seed's natural intelligence. Your mind has that same intelligence. Your heart has that same wisdom. Your spirit has that same timing. You are becoming someone new, not all at once, but thought by thought, breath by breath. As you continue nurturing your miracle, you will begin to notice subtle but profound shifts inside yourself. Moments that once felt heavy begin to feel lighter. Situations that once triggered fear begin to feel manageable. Areas of life that once felt blocked begin to open. This is the miracle revealing itself, not through